In trying to puncture the unrealistic visions of the future that the monk had created, Luang Por could paint a vivid picture. Whereas the monk's life was untrammeled, he said, with the opportunity to go walking carefree through the forests and mountains on Tudong, the householder's life was cramped and constricted. Having a family imprisons you. You end up with the baby crying, your wife grumbling, your father-in-law scolding you, your mother-in-law hating you, hemmed in by pots and pans. Think about it. He reminded the monk of the difficulties of making a way in the world, of how so many years of living by a high moral standard made surviving in a duplicitous world awkward and painful. He called to mind monks who had left and, once the novelty had worn off, bitterly regretted their decision to disrobe. He described the pleasures of sensuality as superficial and fleeting, like the taste of good food on the tongue, in no way comparable to the profound and lasting well-being that could be realized through Dhamma practice. If you keep meditating until your mind becomes calm and lucid, and you see the Dhamma, then you will truly be at ease. Sometimes you can be so full of bliss that you don't need to eat at all. And it's a profound ease, not just a pleasant sensation on the surface of your tongue. The fundamental message Luang Por sought to convey was that lust and longing were not things outside the monastic training pulling the monk inexorably away from it. On the contrary, dealing with such emotional crises was an integral part of the training, looking at the suffering, letting go of the desires that fed it, freeing oneself from the suffering through the practice of the Eightfold Path. This was the very heart of monastic life. Whatever kind of suffering arises, then contemplate it. Look at it until you see it very clearly. Sometimes, when it's not clear, you have to fast and go without sleep and fight with it, be willing to die. Venerable Ajahn Chah once considered disrobing. He wouldn't listen to anybody who tried to dissuade him. His mind was made up. But then, one day, he asked for an axe from the villagers and started chopping logs. He chopped for 3 days and 3 nights until he was exhausted, and his hands were covered in blisters. Then he shouted out loud, "Now do you know who's master?" He was talking to his defilements. Great masters have been through this. One of Luang Pu Man's disciples fell in love with a woman who regularly put food in his bowl on alms round. His friends took him off to meditate and shut him up in the Uposatha hall. He fasted for 5 or 6 days, and then his mind flipped upright. He saw the unattractiveness of the body. His mind became calm and lucid. He saw the Dhamma, and he survived. Sexual desire is your weak point, and you have to remedy it with meditation on the unattractive parts of the body. Keep testing your strength until you know how much you can take. Don't let the defilements keep punching you on your weak spot until they knock you out. Develop more skill in meditation. If the defilements come high, then duck underneath them. If you're not strong enough to take them on, then, when they come at you low, jump over them and run away for a while.